The history of Urantia, Earth. A 5 billion year saga, a detailed scientific history from planetary formation to the dawn of human history. It describes the arrival of the life carriers 550 million years ago to implant life. It gives a strange, non-Darwinian evolutionary account. Life evolves, but is guided and prodded by celestial beings. Sudden leaps in evolution, like mammals appearing, attributed to special life implantations.
Wait a second. Non-Darwinian evolutionary account.
We have Darwinian evolution, of course, I'm not disputing that. But when it comes to humans' life, I know that we've been interfered with or improved, if you like, as we've talked about before with the, what's their names,
Anunnaki.
the Anunnakis that came and tried to make some humans into kind of slave race, and others became super intelligent and were taken away, and we had the bits they got bored with.
That's actually closer to my belief than just Darwinian evolution theory.
Yeah, the default of Adam and Eve, a literal superior biological pair, the material son and daughter, Adam and Eve, were sent to Earth 38,000 years ago to uplift humanity.
Wait, so they've been sent to Earth.
Well,
They were already human.
yes, but maybe there were... Okay, this is for papers 57 to 119, The History of Urantia, Earth. A 5 billion year saga, a detailed scientific history from planetary formation to the dawn of human history. I just want to stop there for a minute, Marnie, and say that's quite good. I don't know if in this time when this was written, it was common knowledge that the Earth was 5 billion years old. Which it is, 4.5, 5 billion. So that in their favor, that's pretty good going.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 thumbs up.
Yes, 2 thumbs up for that one. It describes the arrival of the life carriers 550 million years ago to implant life. It gives a strange, non-Darwinian evolutionary account. Life evolves, but is guided and prodded by celestial beings. Sudden leaps in evolution, like mammals appearing, are attributed to special life implantations.
Wait a second. Non-Darwinian evolutionary account.
That's good, yeah. I mean, this is my opinion speaking here now, but I kind of go along with that. That we have Darwinian evolution, of course, I'm not disputing that. But when it comes to humans' life, I know that we've been interfered with or improved, if you like, as we've talked about before with the, what's their names,
Anunnaki.
the Anunnakis that came and that might be where the Lucifer story comes in, because I know from what we've learned that they didn't always get it right, and they tried to make some humans into kind of slave race, and others became super intelligent and were taken away, and we had the bits they got bored with.
That's actually closer to my belief than just Darwinian evolution theory.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, true. But I think, to me, Darwinian evolution is selection. If we're born with no legs, we're probably not going to survive as well as beings with legs, and then if we suddenly got long legs and can run fast, we'll survive more. I mean, and that probably happens through, I don't know how it happens, but I mean, it's not necessarily interfering from outside of us. I mean, but I think then these other Anunnaki type beings have come in and maybe messed around with the DNA and things, and probably still are. I don't think it's finished.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did we get up to? Oh, yes, Adam and Eve. The default of Adam and Eve, a literal superior biological pair, the material son and daughter, Adam and Eve, were sent to Earth 38,000 years ago to uplift humanity.
Wait, so they've been sent to Earth.
Well,
They were already human.
yes, but maybe they were advanced form of human or something. They biologically defaulted by mating with humans prematurely, delaying the genetic plan and isolating them. This is the fall in Urantia terms. And that might be a parallel to our Anunnaki
So
story.
they weren't supposed to do that, or what is it? Okay.
It's a bit confusing, that. Why the hell did they send them here if they didn't want them to, mess around?
They were supposed to teach, but they were like, okay, we're gonna fuck too.
Yeah.
Why not? While we're at it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, that's another take on the Adam and Eve thing anyway. That's good. It mixes known science with esoteric lore. It talks of Lemuria and the gradual sinking of a continent.
So in the book, it's mentioned in Lemuria.
Yeah, it seems so. And just a little sidetrack, but a relevant one. A sunken continent has recently been rediscovered around New Zealand, and they're calling it Zealandia.
Zealandia, we talk about it.
It's very big. Yeah, it's huge. Not as big as Australia, but getting that way. And there's questions as to whether that was Lemuria.
Sinking in 12,500 BC.
Sounds quite recent. Yeah, I'm not sure if I buy that. Anyway, that's opinion here. Okay. Yes. Oh, and the later rise and fall of Atlantis. Atlantis sinking in 12,500. Yeah, maybe that's so. It names prehistoric human tribes and cultures. Urantia is a rebellion segregated world, and the greater the distance from the center, the more difficult the paradise ascent.
So what it's trying to describe is that this is almost like a prison planet. Not necessarily prison, but like when you rebel, they send you here. It's like Australia in 200 years ago.
Oh, maybe.
Around.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, I think.
And what it's trying to explain is that it's a lot harder to ascend to heaven's paradise.
Yes, from here. Yes, well, that's true. This is another little aside from the paper, but I know you and I have talked about the different zones as I described them, A, B, C, and D. And A zone is a mix of the other three, and we're in it now. It's here, it's Earth. B zone sounds like the rebellion types, really not necessarily not good or bad people, but very fearful ones, very superstitious, bullies, troublemakers. So if that's true, you could say that's B zone. And then C zone, I think you and I mainly C zone, we're stuck in the head a lot, think too much, get caught in status and competition and that level. And D zone is when we've grown beyond that, when we realize we're one. So there, maybe, yeah.
I think with the simple words, it's trying to tell us the game is rigged here. We're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
But,
but
there's still a way out.
I don't see that as a bad thing. I think it's a strengthening thing in us.
Challenging.
Definitely challenging. And it may actually be one of the reasons that it's such a popular place to come to. Not everyone gets to be here.
True. Okay, the paper 120 to 196, The Life and Teachings of Jesus. The growing section, 700 pages. The most famous and beloved part. Jesus as Michael of Nebadon. present Jesus as a fully divine creator son who chose to live a mortal life from birth to death to fully experience and understand his creation, which is a very honorable thing to do. If you create humans and then you're like, okay, I go down, live as one.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll show them I'm human too.
Forget about the religious attachment of it. Just
Yes. Just be it.
the act itself. It's like, okay, how hard can it be? I can do it myself. Let me show. How hard can it be? Let me show you. And then get in the fucking cross and
Papa,
Dad.
look what they're doing.
Yeah, it's literally what happened.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Poor guy. Feel fun.
all right. The Lost Years provides an elaborate novelistic account. Jesus as a prodigious, curious child. Well, I think it talks between because they don't have any account of Jesus between 12 and 33.
That's right. Yeah.
Something like that. Like a period is missing.
It was somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Words in the street is that he went to Egypt and learned all this from Egyptian priests and stuff.
I heard India too, and Tibet.
Yeah, he went like
or maybe he did the lot.
Yeah, like a tour.
Yeah, good.
Jesus as a prodigious, curious child, extensive travels as a young man to Rome, the Caspian Sea, India, Tibet, studying with philosophers and religious teachers. He didn't mention Egypt, right?
Not there.
No. The heavily mirrors themes from the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus to Christ, published in 1908. All right. A detailed day-by-day account of his ministry, sermons, and personal interactions. So they got this day-to-day account of how Jesus lived his life on earth.
Good. Just going back to Egypt, don't forget it was just next door, so that would have been easy.
Yeah, but that should be the main destination.
Well, it should be there too. Yeah, I agree.
By the way, if you want us to break down because we just mentioned and move on, if you want us to break down some of these points or some of these topics, just write down, comment it, and we get a deeper dive on it. His human struggles, doubts, and immense personal charm. He was very charming.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, the accounts
he must have been
show that he was very charming.
Very charismatic. Yeah.
Radical theological shifts. No virgin birth. Jesus is the biological son of Joseph and Mary. So that's what they have different from Bible.
Yes.
That is no, it wasn't it was a normal conception.
Make things a bit better for Joseph too.
Yeah, Joseph is like, God, like, come on, man, give me some credit.
Yes.
No atonement theology. Jesus' death is not a blood sacrifice to appease God, but the supreme demonstration of loving devotion to the Father's will. Which, I buy this more than they just blood sacrifice, because the blood sacrifice is just, I'm against it. I don't believe like sacrificing shit. It's like it doesn't.
It's victim
doesn't
stuff.
end up well. You can sacrifice blood to demons and shit, evil, and it's the same process. Yeah, I think it's been thrown on his head.
Yes,
the event.
Yes, I think so too.
All right. No resurrection of the physical body, which if he died, so he didn't resurrect. Morantia appeared to his followers.
I don't get that line.
Morantia.
I've forgotten what Morantia meant.
In form of energy, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. He lived his life in the flesh, just as all other mortals must live theirs. Tempted in all points, like as you are, and he progressively achieved the experience of conquering the material world.
Mm.
So he had a tough time too as a human.
Yeah, he was a human.
So,
good on him.
Yeah. So this was all 4 parts of the book that we went through, and of course we can just like each point we can talk about it for 5-10 minutes.
Oh, yes.
And discuss it and get into the roots of it. But yeah, that's the overall look of that book.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, which is fascinating.
I find now sitting here talking with you about it, I feel a lot closer to it than earlier. What I've been reading and watching the videos and that, I got more respect for what's come
book?
from it. Yeah, yeah. And where we mentioned earlier in this podcast that I still believe that they took Christianity as the known wisdom of the time about creation, and I think they've expanded it out into another cosmic form really well.
True.
So yeah, bravo, guys. I'm believing in this medium guy more and more. You know.
All right, we're gonna debunk it then. Okay, we're gonna get to the part that we're just gonna go through all the debunkers that try to debunk this whole thing.
Good. That's always necessary.
Yeah. The debunkers case, the meticulous human blueprint. This is the systematic, scholarly dismantling of the revelation claim. The leading voice is Martin Gardner, the celebrated mathematician and skeptic. The smoking gun, the sleeping subject, and the process. The obvious candidate, Martin Gardner, is his book Urantia, The Great Cult Mystery 1995, builds an overwhelming case that the sleeping subject was Wilfred Kellogg. What a name.
They invented cornflakes.
Is it German?
Maybe, but I know it is an American name, but it could be.
Okay. Sadler's brother-in-law, Kellogg, was a former Seventh-day Adventist. Seventh-day Adventist, is that another cult?
Yeah, Mormon.
Mormon before it was Mormon. Deeply read the very theological and cosmological ideas that permeate the book. The forum as collaborative authors. Gardner and others argue the revelation was a decades-long unconscious literary science. The forum asks questions. The subject, likely in a dissociative state, produced answers drawn from his and the group's subconscious. The Contact Commission, Sadler and, all 30, 40 people, then edited for coherence. This explains the multiple writing styles and the 30 years timeline. It's, if you want to go into this to debunk it, you're not going to have a hard time to do it. You can just make shit,
Yeah.
It feels like 2 people right here, and he says no, they make it sound like yes, which can be true, and that's one way to go about it.
Of course, yeah.
Whatever I read, I'm trying to entertain it. Like I'm not there to
understand.
accept it or believe it or debunk it and dismiss it. I'm just trying to entertain the idea. Okay, what part of it resonates with me? What part of it I'm like bullshit?
Yeah.
It's just.
But I would now like to debunk the debunker here. That is absolutely possible, what he's saying, but highly improbable, because the book seems to be very cohesive in its story right through. And if it is a group subconscious, you're not going to get any cohesive picture. You'll get all sorts of different bits and pieces. And I've never heard of that happening where during a seance that a medium can pick up a group consciousness. It's unheard of. If they did, that's a new way of doing things. So
Cool.
But he's got a point, but I don't believe him because I've never heard of it happening ever. Would be amazing if it did, but it wouldn't be cohesive. You imagine 30, 40 different intellects or egos there. They're not going to have this amazing picture of the cosmos all divided up into categories and spaces and no. Sorry, debunker, you screwed up, mate.
Okay, the source material analyzes the human library. The key researcher Matthew Block, a Urantia student himself. Okay, this is one of the students, one of the people involved in the project.
Sure.
Blocks has done the unthinkable. He has meticulously identified hundreds, if not thousands, of direct textual parallel between the Urantia Book and popular academic, scientific, and religious textbooks of the early 20th century.
Ooh.
Which is, duh.
My God, yeah.
Examples of lifted, paraphrased sources. All right, these are the examples of paraphrased or like cited from scientific and other types of books. The science one is The Science of Life, 1931 by H.G. Wells and Julian Huxley.
He wrote science fiction too.
The H.G. Wells. Oh, cool. Psychology, An Outline of Psychopathology, 1935 by William A. White. William A. White is so
I don't know
familiar.
him, but if I understand psychopathology, it's how the mind affects the body. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right.
In terms of theology and history, there is a book that they kind of cited from. The Ages of the Church, 1902, by George P. Fisher. The History of the Christian Church, 1980, by Philip Schaff. And the Jesus section, hugely reliant on the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus to Christ, 1908, by Levi Dolin, and The Life of Jesus, 1863, by Ernest Renan. All right, the conclusion that they made, the debunkers, is that the book is a masterful, unconscious act of synthesis and plagiarism. It did not need celestial beings. It needed a well-stocked Chicago library and a gifted, dissociative mind to weave it together. Okay, in terms of astronomy, the book's Cosmology of Superuniverses Rotating Around Paradise is a perfect reflection of the spiral nebula debate of the 1920s before Hubble proved galaxies were island universes. He uses the obsolete term nebulae throughout the book, the Urantia Book. In terms of biology, its genetics and evolutionary ideas are straight from pre-DNA synthesis biology of the 1930s. In terms of language, it uses scientific terms that were cutting edge in the 1920s but are now obsolete or used differently. In terms of psychological and technological echoes, the theology is a clear product of post-Adventist liberal Protestant Chicago between 1910s and 1930s. It reflects a desire to reconcile science and religion, to demythologize Jesus while elevating him, and to create a ground rational, systematic faith, exactly what a group of progressive, educated Americans of that era would create.
Okay.
Hmm?
The Cult Accusation. Critics point to the secrecy, the inner circle control, the Contact Commission, later the Urantia Foundation. The initial discouragement of widespread publication and the fierce defense of the text's literal revelatory origin as classic cultic behavior. The movement has splintered over issues of control and interpretation. The skeptical verdict. The Urantia Book is a monumental work of 20th century religious syncretism and science fiction, born from the collective subconscious of a specific group at a specific time. Its value is as a human cultural artifact, not a divine document.
Mm.
I see some truth in that, both ways.
Yeah.
I really do.
Mm.
As we said before, I don't think it's come from a group conscious thing. That's unheard of.
Mm.
I do think that it's been channeled, but as we said, it's been channeled to the beliefs of that time.
Yeah.
Part 4, the fact check. What holds up and what doesn't.
All right. Now we're going to fact check everything. The debunker side, the Urantia Book forum side, and we're going to see what is actually true and what is mumbo jumbo. Not true. The first one, astronomical model, claim that has been made by Urantia Book. The detailed structure of the superuniverses and description of nebula as constituent parts of our local universe. The nature of certain celestial mechanics. Fact check. Wrong. Our modern understanding of cosmology, Big Bang, accelerating expansion, galaxy formation is completely different and incompatible. The book's model is a snapshot of 1920s astronomy. It does not predict black holes, dark matter, or the cosmic microwave background. Which, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And the source for it is any modern astronomy textbook, specifically the work of Edwin Hubble, 1929 onward. Well, Edwin Hubble, 1929 onward, they could have fucking take a look at it.
Yeah.
They had time. They had at least 20 years. The biology and genetics claim specific mechanisms of evolution. The description of pattern mechanisms for life, certain human origins details. Fact check, wrong, outdated. Its biology is strictly pre-modern synthesis, pre-1940s. It shows no knowledge of DNA, discovered in 1953. They discovered DNA in 1953?
Yeah.
What the hell?
When I was born.
Wow.
I know.
Historical and archaeological details. Claim specific dates for the rise and fall of Lemuria and Atlantis. Atlantis sinking in 12,500 BC. Detailed narratives of prehistoric human tribes and migrations. Fact check. No evidence. They are not supported by archaeology. Well, shocking. It's not supported by archaeology, geology, or genetics. They're pulled from theosophical and late 19th century esoterics.
I would like to fact check the fact checking here.
All right.
I mean, I don't have proof that Atlantis sank 12,500 years ago, but there are civilizations underwater off Florida in the Philippines, which have no connection to any known civilization now. And I'm not saying either of those Atlantis or Lemuria, but they're saying there's no evidence here. And there is evidence of something underwater from a very long time ago. So,
Well, the fact check doesn't say it's not true. It just say there is no particular evidence for this,
Yes.
which we know there are,
we
but
don't know if it's
the
Atlantis.
archaeologists
It's true.
and they don't accept it. They don't even,
No.
they don't think it's related at all.
Yes.
Which is weird, but it is what it is.
I just think this is biased fact checking.
Yes.
That's my point.
This one is.
Yes.
Claims that are vague, interpretive, or unfalsifiable. What a word.
Yes. A tongue stretcher.
The life carrier, guidance of evolution. Claim evolution is real but directed by celestial being. Which I buy more than just like a random chance evolution.
Yep.
Panspermia, shit like that.
Yes.
Fact check, unfalsifiable. This is a classic God of the gaps. Okay, this is not actually debunking it, but it says like it's unfalsifiable.
No, of course, yeah.
Yeah. This is a classic God of the gaps argument placed over the scientific theory. It cannot be tested or proven wrong, as any leap of the fossil record could be claimed as guidance.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. All right. The second one is the Lucifer rebellion and planetary quarantine. Claim Earth is spiritually backward due to a cosmic rebellion 200,000 years ago. Fact check. Unfalsifiable. It just saw a story to explain the problem of evil and spiritual confusion. No empirical test exists.
Well, that's not surprising, is it?
No.
Yeah.
The mortal ascent scheme. Claim the mentioned words Urantia training, journey to paradise. Fact check. Unfalsifiable by definition. It is a post-mortem promise. Its value is purely philosophical and inspirational. So these are the claims that are startling but have parallels in humans' thought.
Number 1, the Jesus in India Tibet narrative. Claim Jesus traveled and studied in the East. Fact check, no historical evidence. This idea was popularized by Nikola Notovich's The Unknown Life of Jesus Christ, 1894, and Levi Dowling's The Aquarian Gospel, 1908. The Urantia account follows this existing speculative tradition closely. Mainstream historical Jesus scholarship rejects these travels as later legends. The nature of Jesus' death, no atonement. Claim Jesus died as a supreme act of love, not as a sacrificial payment for sin. Fact check. A theological position, not a fact. This is a view held by some liberal Christian theologians, for example Marcus Borri, John Dominic Crossan. The Urantia Book presents it vividly, but it is a human theological interpretation, not a revealed historical fact. The final fact check summary. As a scientific and historical document, the Urantia Book fails. It is firmly rooted in the knowledge and errors of the early 20th century. Its hits are where it's echoed the then current science. Its misses are where that science was later corrected. Its power lies not in its facts, but in its narrative, its psychology, and its grand spiritual vision. It provides a comprehensive, internally consistent story of everything that many find deeply satisfying on a philosophical and existential level. The ultimate question for the listener becomes, do you need a map to be factually accurate to be spiritually useful? I feel that many many individuals could get many different meanings from this book. I don't say it's true or false. I think it's very inspiring work, and we can get from it what we choose.
Yeah, as I said, if you want to go through this book and debunk it, it's like a cowardly approach.
Yes. Thank you, Marty. I agree.
I think the brave thing is to just read it or listen to it or summarize it as I did.
Mm.
And just like, and if you have a question about a particular part of it, like get a deeper dive, like go check sources or like, just see what the text says.
And at the very worst, one is certainly going to get another potential perspective on life. True or false, it's not the point. It's just another perspective.
Yeah.
And that's always healthy, in my opinion.
Well, what I'm thinking is like, I believe in like our evolution. I know maybe they're not original by mentioning it in the book, but I believe that. I believe like we've been, I don't know, call it helped by,
Yes.
or like if something happened to us that we start being this.
Oh, sure. Yes.
And not monkeys. Because
no,
the Darwinian evolution says like, no, we were monkeys and then humans suddenly, like, it's just connected.
It's too big a jump. Yeah, I agree.
I don't buy that.
No, same.
And I'm not saying, oh, that means like God exists or whatever. The two things can be true at the same time.
Absolutely.
So it's not necessarily means like, oh yeah, God created us, but there is a creator. I don't want to like put it in terms of religion or ideology, religious ideology, but I believe that part resonates with me, even though it might not be the original. Maybe they just took it from another book or another narrative going on at the time. So yeah, you guys let us know which part resonates with you or which part you throw out of the window. And yeah, if you like us to cover a particular part of it, comment. And yeah, show a little love, engage with our videos so algorithm picks us up again. We are shadow banned heavily as I send in a post. So let's get this channel going. Thank you so much for watching. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, just that we've got more similar events coming up to this, which I think is going to be really fascinating to broaden all of our views on life.
We're going to have a series of books that are attempting to explain the reality, but they got silenced and they got buried. We're going to have those books and we're going to discuss it and we're going to try to break it down for you.
Bravo.
Cheers.
Cheers, Marnie. Cheers.